edition.
Let's go.
Wow, how about that?
People really like my mustache.
I know, they're going crazy for it, man. Coming to you guys live from the Breck Farmhouse. This DNVR Buffs Primetime presented by Illegal Pete's. Everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. We need a full recap of the weekend and how the mustache golf retreat went.
Don't remember any of it. There's your recap. Nah, it was electric. Great to see all the boys. Mustaches were on point all around. Had some wild ones. As far as the golf, my teams won 2 of the 3 days. Okay. So that made me some money. I did not win personally, but you know it's all about the team, right? I'm a team player.
That's true.
Got to walk away from it fast. I also did win a closest to the pin. Hit a 9-iron to about 4 feet. So that made me some money also.
Damn. Well, the stash is looking good.
Thank you.
How do you feel about it?
It's grown on me. I don't think you guys ever saw it after I went to the barber shop. No. So I took the advice of many, took the handles off, and it's grown on me a little bit. I mean, I'm definitely just growing my beard right back. But, I came away from the experience thinking, if it weren't for this stupid rule that my friends came up with, I would have gone my whole life never knowing what I look like with a mustache. Now I know. And I like that.
Well, we can say we did it.
Exactly. You got a lot of props, by the way, for hopping in on it when you didn't have to.
Oh, thank you. I just kind of wanted to see what it looked like myself, so that's why I wanted to do it.
There we go.
What's up, chat? How's everyone doing?
I'm keeping the sunglasses on because lights are just still a little bit bright for me after this weekend.
A lot of outside time?
Yeah.
Or just hungover?
Yeah, there you go. This is probably a 48 to 52 hour recovery.
Damn. All right.
Need some fluids, as you can see. So, a lot of times we're drinking beers when we're here at the Breckenridge Farmhouse, which I always enjoy a great Breckenridge brew, except for right now. Whereas nothing with any alcohol content will sound good to me for another few days.
They got a new beer, it looks like, too. This Ridge Runner West Coast IPA. Might have to get that. Are you an IPA guy?
I've had my
you dabble?
My IPA times. When I'm just looking for one beer, I just want to have one beer. The IPA is the right move. It's like, yes, especially these Breckenridge ones, which aren't, at least for my taste, I haven't tried this Ridge Runner yet, but at least for my taste, they're not as like intrusive. Like sometimes an IPA just like punches you in the face and you're okay, this seems a little bit much. These ones are actually really drinkable. So it's like hot day, I just want to have one beer. An IPA can be hit the right spot.
Yeah, if you're like an IPA all the time drinker, that is a decision, man.
Yeah, but hey,
more power to you.
More power to them.
Okay, today we are talking about incoming freshmen. 247 put out a top 100 impact freshman list. Jordan Seaton made it. We'll talk about who else should be on there. But we are going to talk about this defensive line, most notably the edge group, these pass rushers, because on Friday, I believe, Bucky put out a one-on-one video of these edge rushers in action. It wasn't very much. It was like 2 minutes maybe. But it just kind of drove home the fact that we could have an actual pass rush this season. Yeah,
and we titled the show what we titled it. I know I came up with this 5 minutes ago, but I already forgot about it. The position group full of new additions who could completely alter Coach Prime and Colorado's season.
Yeah.
Now, of course, the first thought everyone thinks about is the offensive line. And the offensive line could absolutely fit this description, but this was a little bit of like a bait and switch by us here because I knew everyone would think that it was the offensive line that we were going to talk about. But to me, the edge group is just as important and much less publicized. When we talk about the defense last season, I think far too often we don't mention the fact that they did not have a consistent pass rush.
Not at all.
They didn't have a consistent pass rusher. And we all love JD. We all love Taj. But, like, we looked back. The leading sack getter on the team was JD with 5. And Levante Bentley was tied with 5 right behind him.
Yep.
That is not good enough. Not good enough. And that, when the pass rush isn't getting there, it makes everyone else on the defense look worse.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, I don't know if this specifically happened, but let's just say it did. All of a sudden, you got a linebacker getting beat on a wheel route because no one was able to get home, and that allowed that running back to get all the way out to the flat, all the way up the sideline, and the quarterback was able to get the ball down there. Like, each person's, imperfections become highlighted when the pass rush isn't getting home, and they simply did not do it enough. In fact, I think one of their best games doing it was against Nebraska.
Yeah.
And you saw it. Like, the defense was great in that game. They won 36-14. I don't know if they gave up that. I doubt they gave up that few points again in the rest of the season. So this group, which is full of guys that are just, full of potential, and additionally, the guys that are still around, that are 1 year older, 1 year more experienced, I think could absolutely change everything. And let's just say 2 of them really break out. Maybe it's BJ Green, and he's not even necessarily in need of a breakout, but let's say he plays even better than he did for ASU, and Sammy Sachs lives up to the name and becomes Sammy Sachs.
Yeah.
The entire defense will feel completely transformed by 2 guys.
Yep. The guy I want to talk about specifically, though, is Dayon Hayes. He comes in, he has that moment when he comes in doing player introductions, says, "I'm the best defensive end here," and then just walks off. First
Sick.
off, absolutely love that.
Yep.
And then just watching him in the one-on-ones, man, this guy is big, strong, active hands. He's going to be a terror, and he's a guy who's a fifth-year player kind of coming in, too, in that same vein that, JD, Taj, Derek McClendon came in here last year, where, yeah, they may have a little bit of buzz behind their names, but you come to Colorado and then you just ball out, especially at this position, a position of massive need that hasn't really been an impact position for CU long before Coach Prime even got here. The last 10-sack guy, I think, is, 10 years ago, something like that? Mm-hmm. But you bring in this guy, Dayon Hayes.
No, it was 2016, I believe.
16, okay. 10.5 TFLs last year, 4 sacks. He's a guy that I look at, and I think that he could be one of the driving forces behind this room. You mentioned BJ Green, also kind of in that similar vein. PFF put out some stats earlier in the weekend. I don't know if you saw those, but
no, I didn't see anything.
BJ Green, since 25 quarterback hits, 92 quarterback pressures, a 15% pass rush win rate, and a 90 pass rush grade from PFF. So we have younger guys coming in, Quincy Wiggins, Samuel Okunlola, but then you've got these veterans again this year. And again, it's something that people just don't look at when they look at what Colorado has gained in the offseason. They don't look at who these players are, where they've come from, and how experienced they are.
Yeah, BJ Green almost might get the saga tag, but I think we avoided the saga tag. But it's been a kind of like an adventure. Everyone was really excited when we got him. Obviously, there was I don't even know what to call it. The Buffton Prime video and everything that came off of that. Obviously, a lot of disagreements that butted off of that. Then there was kind of like a long time after that where it was just quiet on the BJ Green front, and it was like, is this still happening?
Where is he?
Yeah. Yes. We almost got a "Where is BJ Green" saga. And then he's there when the videos of the workouts start coming out. And I honestly am of the belief that he could end up being one of the most impactful transfers on the team. And, whether or not you want to subscribe to the idea that he had some, I don't know what you call low motor plays, that doesn't really matter to me, because I think if there's anyone who's going to get the most out of him, it's going to be this coaching staff, Coach Prime. And I almost wonder if, maybe he got a little chip on his shoulder from that, wants to prove it wrong, wants to get in the best shape of his life. And regardless of that, the man is an absolute impact player on the football field.
Yes.
Every stat backs that up. To me, because of everything that's happened, I think he's gotten forgotten about a little bit. And I have a feeling that once this season gets rolling, BJ Green's name is going to be mentioned a lot.
I agree. He was the first one of the first reps, I think it was the very first rep in that video from Well Off. I think it was him versus Seaton. He was going around the left tackle.
I think it was right tackle.
Oh, was it right tackle?
I think.
Either way, he always tweets out the twister emoji, and you can see why, because active hands, he just gets low and he creates leverage, and he's a blur almost off the edge.
Absolutely. I'm super excited about him. I'm truly not concerned about the motor questions or anything like that. I just know the dude makes plays on the football field, and I'm super excited. And remember, we talked about this before, but this is a guy who started as a walk-on.
Yep.
It's not a situation where he's been handed anything.
Right.
He's grinded for everything he's got.
Yeah. Also, we have, I feel like I got to say everyone in this room.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise,
Name them all.
We're going to get told we're sleeping on someone. Nikhil Webb-Walker, someone that I put in my potential breakout candidates on Friday. Spider-Man had a great spring game. And I just don't think it can be said enough how this guy is still just learning the game of football. Coming over from Jamaica a few years ago, he played at NMSU last year, had a decent season, and we saw his ability in the spring game. And just you look at the intangibles, the guy's like 6'6", 275, something like that.
Yeah.
Or the tangibles, I guess. You can't. That's just so much to work with. I can't help but think he's going to be a force at some point.
Absolutely. There's a couple guys on this team now that, when you see them, you're like, oh, that looks like an NFL player. And he's one of them. The other one, which I guess is an easy transition, is Quincy Wiggins.
Yep.
That man looks different than just about anyone else on the team.
Yeah.
He is truly a statue, if you will, and a former highly rated recruit. This room is actually kind of a great microcosm of the entire roster, which is like a good mix of highly productive veterans from, some big schools, some smaller schools, and then lesser productive young players from big schools. And then, Sammy Sachs is kind of like a nice in-between. Deion Hayes, the same thing. I guess he's more of a productive veteran from a bigger school. But the point is, it's like there's a mix of everything. And you just need to be right. Like I said, you could honestly get away with just being right about two of these.
Right.
If you're the more the merrier, though.
Love Quincy Wiggins. He's getting some buzz lately. We don't talk about Keaton Wade at all, really. I can't remember too much of him from the spring game, but like his brother, he's a quarterback. I mean, these are big guys, man, like 6'3", 6'4", 245 pounds or so. Arden Walker's back. He's got the cast off. He looked good in those one-on-ones, too.
I would probably say he looked the best of anyone in the one-on-ones. Now, you never want to make too much of this stuff. It's one-on-ones with no pads.
Yeah.
In whatever month. We're in June. But he looks really smooth, really decisive with his moves. Looks like he's expanded the bag a little bit. So I'm excited for him. Another one that's just like, well, what if he becomes a baller? He played really well at the end of last season. Everyone here is going to get an opportunity to show that they can play, and anyone who can is going to.
Yeah, it was a bummer that he was out for the spring game, but as you mentioned, he was coming on strong, and just talking to him before spring practices started, I feel like he's more settled in, just more ready to go this year, not having to deal with all the transfer portal stuff back and forth, wondering if Mizzou's the place for him and all this. He just seems to have really settled in. Tajay McCoy, Brandon Davis-Swain, the two young guys also. Tajay McCoy, of course, a true freshman last year. And he's the guy, JD said it, right, at the end of the season last year, that's a guy to watch out for. He mentioned Arden as well, too.
Absolutely. And then the last one, Brandon Davis-Swain. I mean, another guy unfortunately hurt throughout spring, and for the spring game didn't really get to do too much, but was the leading sack guy in Michigan high school football history, was a 4-star recruit. They were able to pull him all the way out of Michigan into Colorado, and we know that this is more of a long-term guy, obviously. I mean, who knows? He could make an impact this year. And I was just going to say, he absolutely has a college football ready body, and he's only going to get stronger and in better shape working with the strength staff. But this is like another one which it kind of reminds me of the receiver room, where it's just like, well, what if he just is an instant hit.
Yep.
And that can absolutely alter the rotations and everything, but you don't need him to be. This is exactly how you want a college football team to play out.
Yeah, this is how it works, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want strong veteran presence with players who have produced throughout their career and incredibly talented young players who are coming in, nipping at their heels, trying to get their playing time.
Mm-hmm. I think I got everyone. That is 8 deep in the edge room.
Yeah. And any one of these guys could end up blowing up. I think if you were to set odds on it, like our friends over at Bet365 could, you would, let's do it. Who would you put first? Odds to lead the team in sacks.
Odds to lead the team in sacks. BJ Green.
Okay. I like it. That's probably who I would have gone number 1, but I think also Sam Okunlola would be right up there.
I mean, you can't ignore how he was in very limited playing time, just a terror last year for Pitt.
6.5?
I think so. Let me look it up.
I think he had 6.5 sacks as a freshman at Pitt, only going to get stronger and hopefully have even more opportunities to get after the passer in this defense.
Definitely. Pulling it up now. 6 TFLs, 5 sacks.
Okay. That explains it. But either way, 5 sacks as
and
a freshman.
And a forced fumble.
That would have tied for the lead on the team last year as a true freshman.
Yep.
So either one of those guys would probably be the favorite, but any one of these guys could end up breaking out and being a huge, huge part of this.
So let's rank them. But first, shout out to our friends over at Vestibule. We've got some NFL talent in this edge room. We've got a lot of NFL talent on this roster, actually. And they could be in line for a payday down the line. But we have one of our own Denver Broncos, Baron Browning, in a contract year, and you can get in and earn with him on Vestibule. You basically invest in the athlete. You get paid a portion of the athlete's income. It's kind of like a stock. So Baron Browning, as I said, first athlete that they're working with here out in Denver. Been through injuries, has some up and down seasons, but he's in a big contract year. You could cash in alongside Baron. His IPO is live right now with Vestibule. Shares are available for purchase, but they are limited, so go download the Vestibule app now and invest.
Also, shout out to our great friends over at Bet365. We love Bet365. We love their early wins. The opportunities are endless over at Bet365, but right now, U.S. Open week, by the way, you can get the bet and get offer. With a bet of $5 or more, you'll get $150 in bonus bets. And if I were you, I would take that $150 in bonus bets and take some of it, maybe not all of it, and sprinkle it around on the U.S. Open. Hank and I were talking about this after he finished the Broncos show. I think the move, because you don't want to keep getting burnt by Scotty Scheffler, because that was making me hate him, and I don't want to hate him because he's really good.
Yeah.
Plus, he had that cool thing where he got arrested and then went out and shot 66.
Yeah.
I'm going to take one bet, put it on him. That's what I'm going to call my insurance bet.
Okay.
Then I'm going to calculate the potential winnings of that, go a little bit below it, and then spread the rest of that out. So maybe it's like you've got $20 on him. That could pay out. I think it's 3-1, so that could pay out 60. Knowing then you've got like a little $40 window there. Maybe you go 35, so you make a little if he wins, to spread it around. Take some long shots, see who might win this thing. Incredibly tough golf course, so it should be a fun little bloodbath out there. We love a U.S. Open where the winner is.
Where are they?
Less than 10 under. Pinehurst, number 2.
I don't know where that is.
I believe that's North Carolina.
Okay.
So it should be an exciting one, but make sure you get over to Bet365 and get in on that offer, and use code DNVR65 when you sign up at Bet365.
Sorry.
DNVR365 when you sign up at Bet365. Of course, you must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
I'm checking in with the Toyota chat. J. asked, damn, did we forget Arden Walker too? We did not.
No, we did not. Of course not.
I'm going to challenge you today, chat. You can't tell me I missed on a player again today. Also, Ray Beal is a defensive tackle. I see you guys talking about him.
Could lead the team in sacks, though.
He could. I mean, if we have a defensive tackle leading the team in sacks, we are cooking.
It's a blessing.
It would be. All right, let's do these top fives. This top 5 for the edge rushers here.
Okay.
So predicting, I guess, when we look back in December or hopefully January and we look back at the rankings by sacks, is this what we're doing here? We're trying to predict that?
I always hate to do that to these guys because sacks are
right.
It takes multiple things to happen for a sack.
Yeah.
You could have the best move of your life and get right past the left tackle, and it could be a screen to the right, and it's useless.
Yep.
So I think sacks will color the rankings at the end of the season, but it's like, what if Quincy Wiggins dominates TFLs and absolutely holds down one side of the line from a run game perspective? Like, we're not going to knock him for that. So I think the question is, when we look back, who are the 5 best for whatever reason, and stats will play a big part of it. Sometimes guys can do their job so well every time and not end up sacking up the sacks.
Yep. All right, so that's a good way to put it. I guess most impactful edge rushers, or pass rushers.
Sure.
Do we start at the top since we already kind of gave out picks there? Or?
Yeah, let's do it.
I've got BJ Green. I think he's going to be the biggest impact in this edge room. He's a veteran. He's been there, done that. He's got that dog mentality, just coming up from being a walk-on and having to earn playing time, everything that he's gotten at ASU up until now. Former Coach Prime kid, I think, at Prime Truth or something like that. So I just think he's going to have probably the best season the CU edge rusher has had since 2016. I
love this take, and I love that we're kind of putting our stamp on him. And that's a place that I want to be. Yeah. I want to be on Team BJ Green, and I think that's what we're doing. And I think we'll eventually be proven to be very right about that.
Let's go.
So I'm happy with BJ Green at number 1.
You picked Sammy Sachs earlier when we were projecting odds. Do you think he's your number 2 or our number 2?
Yes, he's my number 2.
Okay. I'll go with it. I mean, you look at last year as a redshirt freshman. I already said it, but 5 sacks, 6 TFLs in those 11 games. Very limited playing time. Wasn't starting. So,
impact, great. Just great start to his career, and I think he's only going to get better.
He looked nice in those one-on-ones. Massive frame too. I think he's around 6'4", 240-ish, if not 250-ish, which seems to kind of be the mold of a Coach Prime edge rusher. It's what we saw last year from J.D. McClendon and Taj Alston, and now we're bringing in more guys like that. So. Number 3. That's Sam Okunlola for 2. Number 3, I think it might be Dayon Hayes.
Okay.
Again, kind of really splitting the difference between the two. Of course, played at Pitt, but an older guy coming in as a grad transfer. Hasn't really... I don't think he's really generated the buzz that Okunlola has or BJ Green have yet. But just watching him in those one-on-ones, and again, small, very, very small sample size. This is just another veteran coming in. At worst, I think he's like a JD from last year, where you can count on him to get 5 sacks and just be active around the line of scrimmage at all times.
Yeah, really aggressive play style from him, which I really like. So I'm happy and willing to keep him there at number 3. But I think the next person I would make a case for is Arden Walker.
I agree.
All right, let's do it. Arden Walker, number 4. Like we said, still young. And was very still young last year when he came out there and started making a bunch of plays at the end of the season. To me, he looked incredibly smooth in the one-on-ones that we saw on Well-Off. I like Arden Walker, and I'm excited for him to have another big season. Yeah,
one of our favorite guys on the team, a guy who's just continued to get better ever since he's shown up in Boulder, and a Colorado kid. Went to Cherry Creek, I believe, right?
So true, yep. Cherry Creek High School. All right, we've got 1 spot left and a lot of names left.
Yep.
I think I know my answer.
What is it?
Nikhil Webb-Walker.
I was going to say Spider-Man also.
All right, we are locked in. We might have been 2 days apart, but we hit the ground running right when we're back together.
Yep.
Nikhil Webb-Walker, arguably right up there with Quincy Wiggins, and Quincy Wiggins would have absolutely fit in here as well. but in terms of physical gifts, Wiggins probably has him there. But I'm just really excited to see what he can do, how close he is to unlocking that potential. We've seen big flashes from him, and he's just climbed the ladder, from starting this game, getting over there at New Mexico State. Now he's up here at Colorado. Like he's on his trajectory is very clear to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I've got him 5.
I agree, man. I came away super impressed with him in the spring game. Up there with guys like Isaiah Hart, LaJonte, who really balled out. I thought he was in that conversation as one of the better players on that day. And look, Quincy Wiggins, he's a guy I've been big on before, but you look at him listed 6'5", 265. Are we sure he's going to stay at the edge position? Because he's very young. He's obviously very talented, has a ton of recruiting pedigree to him, but he's not getting smaller, man. If you're already listed at 265, this seems just like a guy waiting to kind of just add more mass and blow up on the interior defensive line.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, certainly not easy leaving him off this list. I'm really excited about what he brings to the table. And to me, maybe the most physically impressive player I've seen.
Yeah.
When they're just like panning through, it's like, oh my God, who's that? Oh, right, Quincy Wiggins. He absolutely could be. He could end up being number 1.
Yeah, for sure.
He has that in him. So certainly trying not to slide him. Tough to make a list of only just 5. That underlines what we were talking about in the first segment, which is like, this is 8 deep, and anyone could pop.
The chat is saying a lot of Tajay McCoy.
Yep.
And just given what we heard from Coach Williams at the end of last year, Arden at the before spring practices, heard from JD at the end of last year, everyone's in on this kid. Everyone loves this kid. So, and Coach Williams coached him hard last year. So I can't imagine he doesn't work out and sees plenty of playing time this season.
Absolutely.
Who else was mentioned? JB. We did not do JB. He's off ball.
Yep. Very much sounds to me like he is going to be playing inside this year.
Yep.
And I think has a chance to play quite a bit.
It seems like it. After the spring game, he's got to. All right. So recap: we had B.J. Green, Sam Okunlola, Deion Hayes, Arden Walker, and then Nikhil Webb-Walker, Spider-Man. There you go. That's the top 5. Shout out to Breckenridge Brewery. We're here at the beautiful Breckenridge campus.
Breckenridge University.
Yeah. We'll see if we can get some new hats made for us that say, well, we can't do BU, I guess, because it's Baylor.
No.
BBU?
In Boston. That sounds questionable.
But coming out here at the farmhouse, I am excited for this show to end because that means I get to have some of the food from here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
Dry rub wings off the chain.
Everything I've ever had from here has been 10 out of 10. You can check out the new West Coast style IPA, the Ridge Runner. It's right in front of us there in that slick green can and box. It's a double dry hot brew. It's inspired by the untamed beauty of Colorado's trails, hopback, infused with whole cone hops and a double dose of Citra. Oh, God, what is that word?
I don't even know.
Eupalin?
Sure.
It's what?
Lupulin?
That's an L?
Citralupulin. I don't know. L's and I's are hard to tell apart.
I'm going to have to talk with Scott about this one. But that powder creates notes of bright citrus pine.
We all knew that.
Citrus and pine.
What's your take on whole cone hops versus half cone hops?
I think I'm a half cone guy.
I love whole cone hops, I got to tell you.
But Breckenridge Brewery is great. Come down here or find a Breck Brew near you using their beer locator at www.breckbrew.com.
Also, shout out to Circle K. Our quest to have Circle K move in across the street is still alive and well. I've been trying to tell Scott to hit him up and just tell him maybe like we'll personally fund just through our purchases like half of their rent every month. But we love Circle K. And you can get a discount on gas, which I feel like everyone wants and needs.
Oh, man.
When you scan the QR code on the screen or visit circlek.com/innercircle to become an Inner Circle member, you got discounts on gas, discounts on snacks. Why would you miss out on free money?
It's right there. So take advantage.
Scan that QR code and become a member with our friends over at Circle K.
Okay. Before we get to questions, by the way, get your questions in now. 247, Chris Hummer wrote this article, Impact True Freshmen, 100 first-year players who will influence the 2024 college football season. And you scroll down to Colorado.
Oh, this isn't ranked? Or is it ranked?
It's not ranked. It's just each team. The only player they have for Colorado is Jordan Seaton. And all we've heard about this freshman class is, only 9-10 additions. You can't, successfully build a program this way, blah, blah, blah. I'm willing to bet I think there's like 3 or 4 true freshmen who make an impact on this team.
Absolutely. I think you originally go to the original 3, which was Jordan Seaton, Kam Mikell, and Draylen Miller. So Jordan's on the list, and then you go to Kam and Draylen, and I think at the very least one of them ends up making a true on-field impact.
And then, of course, Micah Welsh.
Yep.
I get why Jordan's on this list. He's a 5-star, was number 1 OT. He's going to get all the buzz, and already has gotten all the buzz, and a lot of the focus and spotlight's going to be on him this year. But I think when people come in watching Colorado with that focus, they're going to go, who is this Welch kid?
Yeah, it's true.
Who is just bowling over everyone.
Man, honestly, Micah is so dialed in, and I feel like he carries himself in such a mature way that I almost forgot he was a freshman. He's just been. It feels like he's been around for a while too, because he legitimately has. Also, my brain not working at full capacity today, so that probably didn't help either. He should be on this list without a question, and then at least one of the 2 wide receivers.
I agree. Some other guys we can go through. We already talked about Brandon Davis Swain. His path may seem a little more, I guess, congested than these other guys just because of what's in front of him.
Yep.
Gage Goldberg, who's coming in as a preferred walk-on.
I mean, you have to imagine. Well, this could be true of either of the wide receivers too, but Micah could get the first carry he might have the ball in his hands on the first play of the season.
Yep.
And he could take it to the crib and be an impact player on the first play of the season. Same thing could be true, I think, of Kam, who I feel has a slightly easier path than Dre, only because of the exit of Dylan Edwards.
Right.
Opening up kind of, Sean Payton would call it the Joker, which is just like someone you're trying to get in mismatch positions. And, he could also line up there at wide receiver or at running back on the first play of the season for some sort of, swing screen, wheel route, whatever it may be. So I think his path to being an impact player is a little bit easier. But Micah not being on here is a little bit of a red flag of the thought that went into it for me.
Yeah.
And as I displayed also.
There's another running back that could also make this list who we've heard a lot about, and the chat and comments have definitely let me know, Brandon Hood.
Yeah.
Do not sleep on Brandon Hood. And
same reason of what I just talked about with Kam getting into the backfield.
Yes.
Is they need speed.
Yep. With Kam, he's working at wide receiver, I think, right? He's got the wide receiver shirt on. And then Draylen, we've already seen some of the clips. If you watch the one-on-ones from Friday or whenever that was, Friday or Thursday, made a beautiful, just like over the shoulder catch. By the way, did you see that catch in the Clemson, Florida baseball game yesterday?
No.
It was sick.
I didn't see that. Don't ask me if I saw any of the NBA finals or the Stanley Cup or any texts that were sent to me this weekend. I did not see anything. It was honestly great. I went like 4 to 6 hours at a time between opening my phone.
That's the dream, really.
Yep.
Trent Hood also comes in playing linebacker. We've got a few linebackers with Gage Goldberg, Kyron Garcia as well. Yaya Atia Any chance that he gets some playing time this year, you think?
That'll be tough.
I agree. It'd be awesome, though.
Yeah, it would.
So it sounds like keep your eyes on, I guess, Michael Welsh, Brandon Hood, Kam Mikell, Michael, and Draylen Miller are the guys that we would say are most likely to enter this conversation with Jordan Seaton.
What did they say about Jordan?
Given Colorado's offensive line struggles a year ago and the complete reset the room has undergone since, there are plenty of opportunities for young players to emerge on the O-line. Seaton is one of 13 traditional high school or JUCO signees for the Buffs in 24. The 5-star recruit worked as Colorado's starting left tackle during the spring game, and it's very likely he begins the year protecting Shador's blind side.
All right.
I'm sure Nebraska has
Dylan Raiola.
Yep. Colorado State, of course, doesn't have anyone on here for any of those keeping track at home. They've got two. It's Dylan Raiola and then Ja'Cory Barney, the wide receiver. We'll see.
All right.
We will see.
What else you got for me today?
I think that's it, man.
Love it. Talk to the
Questions?
people.
Yep.
Missed you guys.
What do we got?
Hope everyone had a great weekend. Oh. No,
I don't have the show up. I just have the comments, so if you could read them.
Giving Alyssa a second to turn her microphone on here.
Osmald Nato says, any plans for Texas Tech tailgate in Lubbock, maybe a game tailgate package?
Probably not a game tailgate package, but the goal and the hope is that we're going to have a tailgate everywhere. More to come on that.
Mm-hmm. We will be there, though.
From Boom Shakalaka, who has the best pass rush arsenal moves out of our edge room?
Ooh, good question. I'd say it's between BJ and Dayon Hayes at this point. Although Arden, from what we saw in those short little clips, the bag has gotten bigger for sure.
Yep. I would probably go with BJ.
Yep. I think it's pretty cut and clear. I do have something to tell you after the show, though.
Oh, exciting.
I don't know if you saw the Slack messages.
Oh, I did. Yes.
Friday could be lit.
Another game changer.
Yeah.
Next one from Exile Rugby says, how about Kole Mathis getting the interception versus Kam in one-on-ones?
Kam Mikell? Kam with a K? Is that what it says?
Yes, yep.
Interception? He was playing defense?
I guess so. I think he does play on the other side of the ball. He's already got
Kole Mathis. Kole Mathis. Okay.
He's already got a burner made for him. I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter.
No.
It's funny. It's hilarious stuff.
Hell yeah, Kole Mathis. All right, what else we got?
Next one here from Gentra. Any update on Elijah Griffin? He visited when a lot of transfers came to visit, so not a lot of news on him.
No.
Elijah
when Jake goes,
Griffin.
That means no update.
The recruit?
Gotta be.
Wilt Fong has a prediction for him to go to Georgia, and then today there was a video saying that no one is recruiting him harder than Miami.
Okay. There's your update.
I think he did visit for the spring game, though. That's about it.
Cool.
Next one from Ball Out says, what 3 players do you think are going to be on kick return?
Jimmy
for sure.
Do they mean like the little triangle?
Yeah, I guess like the returners.
I don't know who else they would put back there, but I would expect Jimmy to start the season as the kick returner. And he looked really good there when he got his opportunities last year.
I'd throw out Kam Mikell as well and Brandon Hood, 2 freshmen. That'd be a great way for them to find their way onto the field early on. LeJonte maybe at punt returner.
Yeah.
But I don't know about kick return. I can't think of anyone else, really. I think it's a pretty short list for that.
I think Jimmy is a perfect, the perfect build for kick returner. He's, strong and stout enough to take big hits, which can happen on kick return. But obviously he can blaze, and I think it's honestly going to help his path to the league.
People are talking about Kole Mathis' burner account in the comments. It's great. If you stumble across it on Twitter, just scroll through.
How? All right. Okay.
I'll pull it up for you.
I have so many questions.
Just my opinion. Can Sam Hart be a good receiving threat?
Of course, why not?
It's not his specialty.
I mean, he's not, like a Zico or whatever in those molds where it's like pure pass catcher. Michael Harrison,
When I talk to someone on the team or in the program about him, they said that he's a mauler. Is the way they described him. So I think his main duty will be in the running game in blocking, but I think it's possible for him to make some of the plays that Mikey did. And if you think about what Mikey did, which this is not to take away from him at all, but a lot of it was scheme-based. Mikey scores a touchdown against USC on a throwback tight end screen where they had a bunch of guys out in front of him. All he had to do was take it in. There's like the little kind of like wheel route that he ran that came open against CSU. So I think that, Shador will find him if he's open. And as long as he just keeps strong hands, they'll keep looking for him.
I'm very interested to see how this room shakes out with Savell, Morgan Pearson, and now Sam Hart being there. I think Charlie Williams also there, the UNLV tight end.
Yep.
So a lot of unknown going into that room, but a lot of athleticism and ability. So
truly.
Thig Pen King says, how deep and comfortable are you guys with the cornerback room?
Corners? Pretty good.
Yeah, no, I feel great about it. DJ, Preston, and Travis Hunter is way up there in terms of anyone's top three.
Did you see the clips of Colton Hood from last week?
Yes, absolutely. Another great addition. Honestly, excited about all of the Hood guys. That room's going to be competitive.
Yep.
So I feel great about it.
And it's something we didn't talk about in the first two segments, but we knew going back to entering last year, before we even saw them play down against TCU, that we were going to have a decent secondary, at least.
Yep.
They turned out to be good. Battled injuries. I think they could have been a lot better if they didn't go through a lot of that. But now you complement them with a pass rush like this that is 8 deep with veterans and ability all over the place. I mean, you can just see the pieces starting to come together on defense.
Yeah. When the Broncos Super Bowl 50 win, the name that everyone remembers is the no-fly zone because that secondary was incredible.
Yeah.
But let's not forget that there was Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware and a first-round pick and Shane Ray rushing the passer with them and Shaq Barrett. So, the pass rush and the secondary work hand in hand. Both of those groups are going to make each other better this year.
Next one, J. says, RK Cam with a K is looking for people that play pickleball. Help him out.
Oh, let's go.
There you go.
I would love to play pickleball with him. What was it? The Pullman Picklers? Remember Pac-12 Media Day last year?
From, what was that guy's name? Rod Stone, something like that?
Yeah, so the Washington State guy. And then I beat him in 1 point. We played 1 point, and I won.
I love it. Maybe we can turn the rooftop at DNVR into a pickleball court.
Honestly, he's got the right, shape for
idea.
it. Yeah.
There's a lot of room up there.
Atlanta, stay focused.
Wait, but honestly, who I need to introduce Cam to is my mom, because she lives in Boulder and they play pickleball, 3 times a week down there.
There you go.
Don't anyone take that the wrong way in the chat.
Atlanta, stay focused and inform asks, who is going to be the starting center?
Hank Zielinskis, I think, will be the starting center.
Yes.
I don't want to say that competition's over, but it's kind of over.
And honestly, his game tape from last year is so good.
Yeah.
And that's as a true freshman who was just thrown in there because of injury.
Yep. Kind of a lot like how really, that was Van Wells in 22 also. Of course, a terrible team, but he was thrown in there as a freshman, looked really good. Hank did the same thing. I guess little less notice for him because it was just injury thrown in there, and he looks the part. So, very encouraging.
Scobuffs Nation wants to know who starts at right tackle this season.
Khalil Benson.
I'm still rolling with Khalil Benson also. Ethan Boyd is there. We saw him in those one-on-ones. I guess you could maybe – I don't know if Zach Owens or Peyton Kirkland are really ready to make that jump yet.
I'd love to see it.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
It'd make this offensive line even bigger, too,
Yep.
with those two guys because they are massive.
Yeah, so is Khalil, though.
He is, but I think Zach Owens has about 30 to 40 pounds on him.
Really?
Zach Owens is listed at like 375, 380.
He didn't look that big.
I know.
I mean, 375, 380 is a different level of large. Regardless, though, I think Khalil has the inside track. I think, honestly, the five that was there in the spring that worked together for a large portion of it are heavy favorite. Each one of them are heavy favorites to hold down that position. That, of course, would be Jordan Seaton, Tyler Brown, Hank Zielinskis, Justin Mayers, and Khalil Benson. But I wouldn't call anyone a mortal lock. Maybe I shouldn't say anyone. But all of them are heavy favorites, and someone else would have to come in and really, really impress to take their job. And that would not be a bad thing if it happens.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's more likely than not that the starting offensive line we saw in the spring game is what we're going to get week 1 this year in terms of starters.
Yep.
By the way, Tyler Brown continues to just look great. He looked awesome in those one-on-ones, man.
League him.
He's going to make it.
Next one from Samuel asks, is the tight end the weakest position on the offense for the Buffs?
Probably.
There's not very many options, so yes. Yeah. It's wide receiver is incredible, quarterback is incredible, running back is very good, offensive line is much improved, and we think has a chance to be very good. Tight end just lacks the high caliber talent that all the other rooms have, but you do have some exciting players in terms of athleticism and some solid additions in there, but it can't compete with, 2 of the rooms have future top 5 picks.
Right.
And, the running back room has been very well built out. So it's tough.
Yeah. And a lot of unknown, a lot of questions in that room, too. Guys changing positions, guys who haven't played too much, and Sam Hart who are coming over. So it's something we'll just learn as we go through the fall, really.
Next one, kind of similar. T. Lou wants to know which position group raises the most concern thus far.
I guess tight end?
Takes a lot to concern me. I'm not concerned about much, except this headache. But I think you would probably go there. It's just not concern for me as much as it is just like lower expectation.
Right. And we saw last year, like with Mikey, like it'd be nice to have an all-around like impactful tight end, but they can make it work in a few ways without one.
Yeah, I mean you could even use Draylon Miller in some tight end situations if you wanted to.
Throw down your biggest receiver, just like kind of offset from the line. Throw down Will Shepard or C5,
or Marion Miller.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to kind of scheme around it, which is all they did with Mikey. Like all they did with Mikey is take a wide receiver and put him in there.
That's literally what he was. Yes.
And obviously they had more time, so I think they were hoping to teach him how to block a little bit. With all due respect to Mikey, he was pretty ineffective in that role. So I don't think there's going to be much of a difference if you just line up, a big wide receiver in line.
Yeah.
But if Mikey can get 5 touchdowns, it's not like it'll be hard for this tight end room to, match that.
But the thing with this tight end room is they're much bigger, too.
Yep.
I think they're going to be and as you mentioned with Sam Hart, I think that's, again, it's not something I'd call a virtual lock, but I'm looking to see the tight ends block much more impactfully and just better this season, right off the rip.
Yep.
Last one here from Jesse Marion says, how much will special teams affect the season this year?
Massively. Always does.
Yeah. Special teams is why I always think it's so funny to try and predict records before the season.
Right.
Because I'm just like, well, something's going to happen in one of these games that no one could possibly ever expect or predict on special teams. It's going to change it. And, heck, we saw obviously a missed field goal impact the final score of a game. We also saw the opposite of it, which was didn't Arizona's kicker hit like a 62-yarder or something.
I don't remember that. I remember them hitting a field goal to win the game
winner,
though.
yes. But I think earlier in the game they hit a long one. Maybe it was a high 50s. But that's what I mean. It's just like you can't predict that stuff. It's random. I want to say we had a big return called back in a game. Like it's just it's. They say it's a third of the game. It's not really quite a third of the game, but it is a massive part of the game that will change the outcome several times within a season.
Yeah, it dictates field position. It dictates how the field flips in terms of returns and all that. I saw someone ask in the comments too, do we have a kicker that can kick through the end zone this year? And I think they do. I think they got better at kicker.
Stojanovic?
Alexander Stojanovic, yeah. That guy's got a boot, bro.
Peja.
Yeah.
He's got range.
We'll see if it translates to the football field, but yeah. And then we've got the best punter in the country.
Yeah. Arguably,
but, I mean, if Neely's giving him player of the day.
Mate.
What else? That's it.
All right.
Welcome back. It's good to have you back.
Great to be back. If history tells us anything, I'll be even better tomorrow.
Cannot wait. We'll see you then, Skull Buffs.
Skull Buffs.
We all silly like the mayor.